Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be the top 4 feature match for the 12th edition of my online Discord tournament, and this one's going to be between Just Griffin on Madolche and Shrug on Drytron. And first and foremost, I do just want to say thank you all so much for helping the channel reach 10,000 subscribers. That's honestly a huge milestone, and it's one that I never expected to reach so fast. We did really just truly achieve this together, and I view this as a community effort. So I just want to thank each and every single one of you, whether you subscribed yesterday or have been here pretty much the entire time. I really do appreciate all of you all the same. And to commemorate this experience and this milestone, I do want to host a giveaway tournament, which will be pretty soon. It'll be free to enter, and there should be some pretty decent prizing. So to go ahead and tell your friends. There'll be more details to come, so go join my Discord server. You can find the link to that in the description box below. Still working out the details, of course. And speaking of which, if you do want to help determine what dates the tournament is going to be, because I am still in the process of deciding that, you can find a poll on my community tab page where I ask you guys pretty much the best availability. I want to accommodate as many people as possible, so if we could have a great turnout, that would be excellent. But yeah, let's not waste any more time and get started with this matchup here without any further ado. So we are going to be seeing the Madolche player take the RPS win, and they are going to opt to start this match. So their opening hand going first is going to be Salon, Double Promenade, Call by the Grave, and Angeli. Hand's a little bit weird with like all the Madolche spell and traps, which you don't usually want to draw, except maybe Salon, but the hand's definitely strong, with Angeli being one of the good starters and having some protection to back it up. And then going second, Drytron's opening hand is going to be Double Zeta, Fafnir, Emergency, and Call by the Grave. Hey, they both open the power one of. So they don't have anything specific for breaking the board here, so we will see what Madolche can do going first. So they're going to begin with a copy of Salon and then use the extra normal summon to summon out the Angeli from hand. And then Angeli's effect is going to tribute itself to summon from deck a copy of the Petting Sisor. And then Petting Sisor will summon another monster from the deck, so that will bring out a copy of the Hcabe. So not going for the Pudding Sus here, going for a different line. Curious as to what this is going to end on. Going to activate Hcabe's effect. That's going to target Angeli to banish it from grave and then summon out Messengelado from deck. Messengelato's effect triggers here because Hcabe's on the board, of course, so that's going to go and search for a copy of Ticket. Then they're going to activate Ticket and then overlay the 2 level 4s into the Glassiflay before setting a Call by and Promenade and then passing. So this does play around Nibiru because it is 4 summons, and this card is pretty strong against Drytron, just being able to kind of manipulate the graveyard at will. Which is quite strong. Could be good in the grind game as well, in addition to these other interruptions. So pretty strong. Also, both of these players, I believe, played each other in Swiss, so they should know the matchup, which makes sense if they kind of went for this more conservative route. Maybe they saw Nibiru like in the main deck in other matches, who knows. But I actually don't have the deck lists on me on hand right now, but if you do want to check them out, they will be in the description box below. But anyways, yeah, Glassiflay is going to activate in the end phase. That's going to go and detach the Messengelado to target itself, and then the second effect will shovel back the Messengelado that was just detached. And this triggers both the Salon and the Ticket, which I think are both mandatory, so getting to stack the Chainlinks here. So Chainlink 2 Ticket will add a copy of Angeli, and then Chainlink 1 Salon will set another copy of Promenade. And then they will pass here. For turn, Drytron is going to top deck a copy of Orange Light. This is not currently live, but they have a lot of Drytron names. So they are going to begin with a copy of Emergency. So that's going to search for a copy of Alpha Thuban. Promenade just negates the effects of that opponent's card. So yeah, that wouldn't like trigger the grave effect of Emergency or anything. But yeah, Alpha is going to be added, and then it will be activated, tributing away the Benten, or sorry, tributing away the Zeta. Wow, I'm still like used to saying Alpha tribute Benten, but that's not even the best combo. Anyways, gonna go for Alpha tributing Zeta, and then they're gonna search the Benten off of the Alpha. And then Zeta is going to tribute away the Benten that was just searched. And they're thinking they're going to choose to let this resolve. So not opting to Call by the Grave this, holding it for the Benten. They also chose not to use Glassiflay and Resolution, because that does play pretty hard into just like an extra Drytron name, which there was an extra one. So yeah, holding off on the interruptions here. They're going to search for Meteorus Drytron, and then they're going to attempt to activate Benten and Resolution. I imagine that's getting Called by the Grave. And then they're going to overlay into a copy of Drytron Mubi to Fafnir. So they are making a bit of a concession to Zeus, because they don't really have a way to reliably stop it, provided that they're playing downward, which I imagine they are. So Mubi to Fafnir is going to activate. That's going to send a copy of the Meteorus Draconids. And then it looks like we're going to see Glassiflay being activated here, and then they're going to target the Hcabe to make it unaffected, and then the second effect is going to shuffle back just the Draconids. So they want to leave the Madolche name in the graveyard to get more value off Promenade here, which makes sense. So yeah, I guess that's why they did it here rather than in response, like responding to the Medionis Drytron with like Promenade, I suppose. Which would have also been decent, but yeah, I guess they want to do it this way just to get extra value. The field spell is going to come down next, so that's going to net a search for not Gamma, because that is not a legal search target. Yeah, just skipping a step there. They're going to pick up Nova here, and then Nova is going to activate, so that's going to summon, I assume, the Gamma that they try to add. Yeah, going to go for the Gamma here, and then they're going to proceed to battle phase. So they are going to attack over this Hcabe, which can be destroyed by battle because they summoned out the Petting Sussur. I'm so used to this card being the target off Angeli here. But yeah, Hcabe gonna shuffle itself back by its own effect, triggering both the continuous spells, so grabbing Chateau, or setting it rather, and then searching for a Hcabe. And then they're gonna go and proceed to main phase 2. They're going to overlay for Downerd and then Zeus. So they're gonna chain Promenade, and then they're gonna chain Zeus again. So the board does get wiped. They're going to return the Petting Sussur to hand out Promenade, and then everything else goes. This is actually not bad for Madolche, though, since Drytron does not have any rituals pretty much at all. And there's not really a way to get to them that I can see right now. Maybe I'm wrong about that. We'll have to wait and see. The field spell should be going as well, thanks to the Zeus. But yeah, Gamma going to trade away the Spear Zeta in hand. That's going to summon itself and the Zeta back from grave. Then they're going to normal summon Orange Light. And then they're going to Synchro summon Herald of the Arclight. Just straight up hard summon Arclight. I did not expect that, I'm not going to lie. That works, I guess. It's a negation, plus it gets you follow-up, which is decent. Yeah, I was expecting like a Masquerena with Zeus and then set Call by the Grave, but this is definitely a line of play. It does kind of lose to what is known to be added back, though, being the Hcabe and the Petting Sussur, because they can just normal summon and go battle phase here. But yeah, we're going to see a top deck Go spell, so it's a pretty interesting inclusion in the main deck right here. So we're going to see Madolche move to main phase 1. They're going to normal summon Hcabe, and then just go straight to battle phase and clear the Herald. Herald of the Arclight is going to trigger as well as Zeus, so it's going to equip, or rather attach Ava from the deck, and then go and search for Ida-10 off the Arclight. And then main phase 2, there is a Glass of Flame Graves, so Hcabe cannot activate. And that also clears the graveyard for the Petting Sussur in the process. So Madolche Messengelato is going to be summoned off of the Hcabe, and that's going to search for Salon. I'm fairly certain this is a 3-of, as is the Promenade. Well, we see all 3 Promenade here. Salon is going to be activated next, and then they are going to activate Petting Sussur in hand now that the graveyard is vacated. Going to summon itself from the hand, and then on the field is now going to summon the Pudding Cess. So both these cards in hand are known, since this was a search off of Zeta and this was off of Arclight. So yeah, they don't really have to fear Nibiru. Going to go for the Tiramisu, and then they're going to activate the effect. They could opt to call by here if they really wanted to. It's not really like a great opportunity to use it, but at the same time, if you do use it, it's not really that crazy. They also could have used it maybe on the summon of Hcabe, or like maybe at the end of the battle phase, but then you just clear their graveyard for the Petting Sussur anyways, and then they could just do Hcabe afterwards. So yeah, it doesn't really change the order of operations. Well, it does change the order of operations, but doesn't really change the end result too much. So they're gonna put back Tick and Promenade off the Tiramisu and then just spin those back, and then this does trigger Salon and the Ava here. So Salon Chainlink 1, Ava Chainlink 2. So going to banish and then search for Diviner Orange, and then Salon's gonna set Ticket from deck, the one that was just put back off the Tiramisu, which is why it wasn't too much of a problem that the entire board got wiped for Madolche, because they can recycle their cards, pretty reliably. So Ticket's going to be activated, and then they're going to go for the Chocolate a la Mode, and then they're going to use the effect that's going to go and force the Orange Light. And then from here, they're going to use the extra normal summon on Angeli, thanks to Salon. And then Angeli is going to attribute herself to summon Messengelato from deck and grab the Promenade that was also shuffled back via the Tiramisu. They're going to set it, and then overlay for Glass Soufflé. They're going to activate the effects, and this is going to put in a lot of work here. So there's 4 Drytron names, and over the span of this turn and next turn, they can just clear all of those if they wish to. So yeah, gonna put back Zeta and Alpha, and then proceed to end phase. They know they have nothing here, so they're on a top deck plus 2 known cards. And then in standby phase, they're gonna activate Glass of Flay again. They're gonna make itself unaffected, and then put back Gamma and Zeta. This is looking pretty bad for Drytron. So they can Meteonus to bring back Ide 10, and then Ide 10 add back Meteonus, and then try and maybe go for like a Beatrice. But even then, that doesn't really do a whole ton because there's just no other Drytrons to kind of fuel the engine at this point. So I wonder what do you do here. I guess you could send Arclight. Yeah, they probably play a second one, I imagine. So I think that's their Hail Mary. So that would get you the fodder if you sent like another Drytron name. So Meteonus, that's gonna get met with a Ghost Bell. So yeah, like even Promenade aside, Bell is just gonna put a stop to that. And this actually gives away a lot of info because this wouldn't be legal to activate if there wasn't a proper tribute fodder, if that makes sense. So they know the other card's Diviner, so this has to be a Drytron. So that gives Griffin more intel. So we're gonna see Shrug normal summon Diviner the Herald. That's gonna be met with the Promenade. So gonna negate and then put Angeli back and then trigger both the continuous spells again, and Shrug is going to concede there. So gonna move now into game number 2. That was a pretty good showcase of just how crazy Glass of Flay is in the Drytron matchup, it seems. But going first, the Drytron player's opening hand this time around is going to be Ida 10, Natasha, Emergency, Alpha, Nova. This hand is also pretty good, just like last time. 3 Drytron names, definitely pretty solid. And then the opening hand from Madolche going second is going to be Droll, Ghost Bell, Salon, Ash, Veiler. That's a lot of hand traps. So yeah, there's not really any playable starter engine cards right now. So I mean, at the minimum, they can stop the Drytron player. So Shrug, they're gonna activate Emergency. That's gonna fetch a copy of the Meteonus Draconids, and then they're gonna activate Nova. So Griffin choosing not to use Drill here. I think they just want to make Shrug commit more cards, because with this hand, like if you just Droll and then they pass and then you don't pick up like anything super solid, then yeah, like the Droll wouldn't have really done much. So like in a hand this week, I can see why you hold Droll here. They're gonna Nova and then chain Ash to that. So yeah, Shrug also played around Droll pretty decently too with the Meteonus, like provided that there wasn't an Ash, because this could just grab Gamma. And maybe that's another reason why Griffin didn't Droll, but like yeah, Nova could grab Gamma, and then that could like set up the Mu Beta Fafnir to send Meteonus, and then set up at least the Draconids. So yeah, both players playing this pretty well. They're gonna go and Alpha, tribute away the Meteonus Draconids, and then that's gonna search for Ben 10. And just like that, they don't actually have any more Drytron names. They're going to Droll and Resolution here. I think now they want to like stem the bleeding just in case there is another Drytron name, so they can like cut off access, especially if like there's a Zeta up there. So like that just cuts off like more resources, because then your opponent just kind of runs away with the game. Like they committed a fair amount. Like they committed 2 cards, which is like decent. They can go Link Rebo Pass. They draw Pegasusaur for turn, which is not live right now. I know Griffin has been playing this deck for a very, very, very long time, and he's brought up that the conflict between hand traps and Pegasusaur isn't like the biggest deal. Like he says that like people kind of overvalue it, because there are enough ways to kind of get your play started regardless. And like in a matchup like this, you definitely need to stop your opponent from playing. Whereas like if you have DtheSecond cards, so you're not guaranteed to stop your opponent, especially with like all of like the Scythe stuff going on and like Oath and Tribeate Lurlusk, so it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, this is still not very good. So they're gonna activate Salon, and then they're going to normal summon Pegasusaur, and then they're gonna clear the Link Rebo effect, and then pass. They do draw the Zeta, so it wasn't in hand before, but it is now. And then they're going to activate Alpha. They're gonna tribute away Ben 10, and then trigger the Ghost Bell in response, or chain Ghost Bell in response. So they chose to tribute Ben 10 instead of Zeta here. I kind of wonder what the reasoning for that is. Not entirely sure what this is playing around, actually. I'm trying to think, but I haven't really played too much Drytron recently, so maybe I'm just missing something super obvious. But anyways, Ben 10 does trigger here, because this does also lose to Droll. But yeah, Herald or Diviner is going to be searched here. And then they're going to normal summon out Diviner, and then that's going to be met with the Effect Veiler. So 4-hand traps, pretty solid. They can keep playing here. They have Zeta to tribute, and then search to Meteonis. But they can't go for Beatrice or move Beta Fafnir currently. So I wonder what the follow-up is going to be. So they're going to Zeta tribute away the Ida-10 and then summon out the Meteonis. And then they're going to activate, or not summon out Meteonis, search Meteonis, and then they're going to activate Meteonis. They're going to tribute away the Zetas to summon out Natasha. So they could have tributed away Natasha off the Zeta to keep the Ida-10 in hand. I'm guessing they do this because they want to banish Ida-10 for Natasha's effect. Because I assume they don't want to like trigger Salon, which is fair enough. So they'd rather keep Ben 10 engraved over the Ida-10. So they're going to gain 500 off the Natasha effect and then link off for Masquerena, and then they're going to go for the Natasha, yeah, banishing the Ida-10. So they could have maybe played this a little bit differently, just depending on what they were trying to play around. I'm more curious about like the Alpha tributing the Beta, or the Ben 10, not Beta. Imagine people playing Beta right now. But yeah, they're going to go for Natasha here, and then they're going to gain some life points. And then they're going to go to battle phase and attack for a fair amount of damage. And they're going to pass in this. We're going to see the top deck be Hcabe from Madolche. That is quite solid. A lot of fodder for that one. However, against Masquerena, it's going to be tough. They're going to run summon Hcabe, and then Masquerena is going to go ahead and summon out Appaloosa here. And, oh, just kidding. They're going to go for Underworld Goddess. I actually just did not expect that. So this actually does clear the Hcabe, which is, you know, pretty decent because it makes it so that, again, like Salon won't be able to trigger. So yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they're gonna pass here, and then they're gonna draw Tactics for turn. They're just gonna go battle phase and swing with the Underworld Goddess, and then pass. And then they top deck Madeline. Wow, these are really, really nice top decks here. So they're gonna extra normal summon off the Salon, and this is like one of the combinations that work if you do have to hand trap your opponent. And thus Madeline is going to search for Angeli, and now this is full combo. Angeli going to activate. That's going to go ahead, tribute itself to summon out the Petting Sisor. Petting Sisor going to summon out Hcabe from deck, and then Hcabe going to target Joel to banish it to summon out Messenger Gelato from deck, and then that triggers the search for Ticket, and then they're going to activate Ticket, and then overlay for a Tiramisu, and then Tiramisu is going to shuffle back Hcabe and Angeli, but this card, I think, actually read this card again. If this card is only summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. This link summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects unless they target this card. So, funnily enough, Tiramisu does not out the Underworld Goddess here. Yeah, specifically has to be targeted. This is the first time Tiara not targeting has been a hindrance. Yeah, definitely. This is like one of the cards that's really hard to power creep, just in general. The only comparable card is like Zeus, I guess, like for accessibility in terms of being an Xyz monster, but still, this card is pretty absurd. But gonna go and trigger Salon regardless. That's gonna go and set Promenade, and Ticket activated there too. So that's gonna summon up Messenger Gelato since a Fairy Xyz monster, or Fairy Madolche Xyz monster is on the field. I think it could just be any Fairy Madolche monster, yeah. Doesn't have to be Xyz. Anyway, so Messenger Gelato is gonna activate, that's gonna grab Chateau, and then they're gonna activate Chateau, and then they're gonna go for the rank 5. And yeah, Chateau Shuffle is mandatory. I also missed that. So both of these monsters are on 3,000 thanks to the field spell, so they are going to crash. And then they're going to attack for a fair amount of damage. And main phase 2, you see 2 level 4s on board, so we all know what's coming here. That is the Fat Glassiflay. So that is going to take care of the Drytron follow-up. And now I don't know what card Shrug can draw to get out of this one. Glassiflay is going to activate. That's going to target itself. Second effect is going to be on Zeta and Alpha. And then they're going to pass. They draw Zeta for turn. And then they're going to proceed in main phase. They're going to Natasha here. So they're going to target banish Ben 10, and then target the Glassiflay. So they can just chain Glassiflay to target itself to make it unaffected. So Natasha does still summon itself, because it's summon itself. Let's see, special summon this card, and if you do, take control. So it still does resolve as much as possible. Glassiflay second effect triggers here, so it's going to shuffle back both of the Meteonis, so the Ritual spell and the Ritual monster. Zeta can now tribute away the Natasha, which does fetch back the Meteonus that was put back. But this doesn't really do that much. They're going to Meteonus here. They're going to let this one resolve. Yeah, because this doesn't really actually do anything. Besides, like, put a monster on board that is a little bit annoying. But realistically, Griffin can just make another Tiramisu to spin it. And then they're going to Tactics. That's going to be negated by Promenade for sure. And that will be it. So Madolche going to be taking this matchup against Drytron 2-0. Although I think these games are still fairly close all around, especially game 1. And really cool. We got to see like just how potent this card is, especially when the game goes to a grind. And despite opening 4 hand traps plus Salon, like presumably a brick, as long as you can stop Drytron and then like apply pressure, there are still a lot of like really good 1-card plays this deck has. Especially when you have Salon, like just to back it up. I guess it becomes 2 cards then at that point, but still like this, like plus Mageline we saw, or like Angeli even was good enough, or Hoot Cake because you have like all the hand traps. So lots of ways to play, like even if you have to hand trap your opponent. Plus this deck I'm almost 99% sure is on Prosperity too, just to help dig for extra pieces. So you have a lot of ways to actually find plays even if you are forced to put monsters into your grave. So yeah, I can definitely see why this is not really like that much of a conflict here, especially in a format where you kind of do need hand traps in certain matchups. But that is going to be it. I will be posting the other top 4 feature match from this tournament pretty soon here. And again, if you do want to play and participate in my 10K sub giveaway tournament, that will be happening fairly shortly. The announcement will be now. It should be up hopefully by the end of the weekend, fingers crossed. I have been pretty busy here this week with school and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you all so much for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe if you have. And until next time, I will catch you in the next video. See you guys.